What's going on, Whalers fam, and welcome back to another bowling vlog. Tonight is Monday Night Trios, week 7. Just a little bit over a month of action to go in this league, and then we're going to move on to the fall schedule. But for right now, we are playing the best performing team in Trios right now. That's what we got. So we got like a tough task against us. We're also down Raphael this evening, so he is not here. In his place will be Jonathan, and as a result of Jonathan bowling, I will move to the leadoff position in this league evening. Um, but yeah, John's a great bowler. You're gonna see a little bit of him throughout the entire video. It's always good to have John around when we need an extra body or whatever it ends up being. So we're pretty much coming off the Lane Glow video where we saw a little bit of adversity with the 222 in game 3 with the Quantum Evo. So tonight we're going to keep using the Evo as much as we can just to see if we can keep running with a better, like the hot hand essentially, is what I'm trying to say there. So we're going to try to run with the hot hand tonight. In the Evo, we'll have the vibe in the white dot as well in our bowling bag. My Rhino and Beast are not at the alley. I didn't bring them just because I don't feel like I need them right now. So with that said, we're going to go right into game 1 and get the action going with this very tough series ahead of us. Feel free to like and subscribe if you guys enjoy the content so far, and I will see you at the end of game 1. Alrighty, so we're about midway through this first game. We're doing okay at the moment. We did kind of have a bumpy second and third frame in instances where I definitely should have had those spares, but I don't. Um, yeah, it was just a little unexpected at the time, but the ball's still great. Um, so just despite the blemishes of opens that we had, we're still getting through this game fairly okay. It's a little bit close at the moment, but I actually don't even remember what we lost by, but you're gonna see it in the graphic anyhow. Um, But yeah, when you're playing the best trio team and you leave opens, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. And leave a couple marks. So yeah, the thing for us too is we also have to watch the positional matchup. So like the guy to our left or right, given which game it is. So we have to be conscious of that as well. And in this instance, Scott is catching up to us little by little. So like having these spares, like we have to hit them all, or else he's gonna catch up a lot faster. So we just have to put on like really solid pressure to hope that he also gets put back down to spares. But at this exact moment, we're now in the 10th frame here, and we get a strike to start it. So that's always good. We go up again. We get another one. This one goes for Brooklyn, and we get bailed out. I'm going to throw the ball down, just another good throw here. And this one ends up taking 8, I believe, from what I see. So yeah, we do lose the personal matchup on this one by 10, sadly. So it's still very close. But we did miss average by 6 pins, so there's also that information to bring to light. Jonathan's going to wrap up here. He also had a good first game of the 217. And then TJ, which for him, he was having a brutal start out of the gate. And he just couldn't really strike as much in the open. So he'll get a fill ball here, but we will end up dropping game 1 by, I think, a somewhat decent margin. Like, it's not that bad, but yeah, so yeah, obviously, with TJ not having a good start, we are slightly set back a little bit, but it's nothing we haven't came back from before. And if you remember from the series that we played, when I played Barry, which is probably like 3 weeks ago, we did actually attempt a very good run, and we still have a lot of time in the evening to fix the deficit. But even if it happens to grow or whatever ends up happening in game 2, it's nothing we haven't really dealt with before, but we can handle being down in pins if that situation happens to grow going forward with the evening. So anyhow, I'm going to let you guys get into game 2. Feel free to check out our shorts on the channel as well. Would greatly appreciate your support. They're just clips of the same things you see here in the highlight videos, but it allows more people to check out our content. With that said, on to game 2. Into game two now. We have a bit of a deficit here. Or, well, it's definitely a hefty deficit anytime it gets over 50. John is not really having a good go right now. It's just kind of been opens and things like that that are just unfortunate to describe. As for me, though, we're doing okay. We've only had one open where it was a costly split. For me, though, obviously, once again, we're trying to make sure we keep as clean as possible. We do that here. Going into the 10th frame, TJ's back up now, and he's also kind of starting to fall a little bit behind as well. But he'll mark in the 9th. Now it's my turn in the 10th frame now, and this time we do have a leave once again, so we got to spare it and get count. That's realistically all we can do. So yeah, and Scott also is working on a spare as well at this exact moment. So, and we're tied going into the fill ball. So, as for me though, I throw my Evo down. It knocks down 8. So I'm gonna have to hope that Scott knocks down only 8 so we could tie. This ball you're seeing, as you can see him throw it, he strikes and we fall on the individual matchup by 2 pins in game 2. This is what sucks, but like we're close, we just don't have enough oomph to get ahead. As now we're down 12 in general to Scott at this exact moment. John's just gonna wrap up here. He does have a good finish here at least, and he'll come home with a 148 in game 2. So he will also lose his personal matchup on this one by a significant amount. TJ's had trouble with back-to-back strikes. He'll leave a 7 pin here, and you'll watch it as I keep going on and on. This would be our biggest defeat of the evening, where we would go on to lose by over 100 pins plus, maybe 120 plus. And ironically, John and TJ finished with a 148 in this game, and I just missed 200 by 1 pin, but that's okay. I've had 199 in a game before and a few times as well, so um, yeah, but it's an above average game for us, which is great. So we have something to build on going into game 3. Now, obviously, the deficit between Scott and I is 12, so I have to beat him by 12 pins or more. My handicap is better than his, so however, if he happens to bowl just as good as he did here, it might be a tougher night for us than I realized, but hopefully we can get something going here in game 3, and you're going to find out how we do in game 3 right now. So far in game three, in the personal matchup specifically, since it's been close all night long, it seems that myself and Scott seem to want to trade opens. So this is going to be an interesting finish for League Night. Now, for me here, I have another spare. Like, a lot of this game is more sparing than it was striking on either side. But nonetheless, we're trying to do what we can to stay ahead. John's rolling a very great game so far after his 148. He strikes again here. Back up to me now in, I believe, the 8th or something. Yeah, 8th. Now for us, we strike here, which helps us a ton. Big John's back up looking for a triple, and he will get that triple. So at this moment, he's on pace for a very high game. Back up to me in the 9th frame here. And we're trying to build on our strike. That doesn't really work out for us. We leave a baby split that we have to quickly resolve to make sure we have a shot at staying ahead. We take it down completely. You couldn't really see it well with the way the angle was. The angle was slightly different in this game. John's going to go for 4 here, and he'll successfully do so. That's a ham bone. 4 strikes in a row. 10th frame now up for us now. Evo a little bit too far to the right, and this one splits. This is the worst time for me to split, so I'm just doing the smart play here and taking 2 and hoping that Scott doesn't catch up. But you're going to see that right here. He'll go up now, and this spare right here will determine who takes this game, and it turns out Scott will take this by literally that exact spare. And I go on to lose the personal matchup and personal series 0-4. John's just going to wrap up here. He had a high game finish with a 256, so a solid bounce back from him. I end up on the other end of it with a 143 in game 3. TJ's just going to wrap it up here as well. But because of TJ's split in the 9th, he can only get 10 pins per throw. Another strike here to go to the fill ball, and he'll finish with a 203 on the evening. This wasn't a very great league night for us, but stat-wise, in a matter of moments, you're going to see how close we were to average. We are obviously going to be lower because we only broke average once, and we got close in first game. So, with that said, not a very easy evening, and then a lot of bad things started happening in game 3 that made things a lot tougher to play. So with that, I'm going to take you to the recap right now so you can see the difference. The difference for us ends up being that we do miss the average by 30. That's because of a bad game 3. If we were 30 pins better, we probably do take a couple of these points. But our team series is opposite of how we did last week, where last week we were 16-5. This week we're back to 5-16. So that pretty much we're 500 in the last 2 weeks. Our team record is 72-75, right around that 500 line, but we can jump from 7 to 4th with a win next week. Our individual series, once again, is super close throughout the whole evening, and we end up losing the series by literally 13 pins. So if I had like a spare or 2 more, I definitely end up taking 3 and total, but that's not how it plays out. Team series wise, we win by a good bit in game 3. We eventually at one point led by 100, but because of the opens that we had and splitting, it allowed that deficit to be cut just a little bit more. We do lose the total series by 96 pins as well. So, not a very good Monday night for us. We just needed a little bit more luck to make it past our individual matchup. That did not come, but it's part of why there's closer matchups in League Bowling in general, and we're going through that here in this series. If you guys enjoyed the content, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. We're only a handful of subscribers left till 400 on the channel, so I appreciate your support greatly, and I will catch you on the Wednesday night mixed video very soon. Take care, Whalers fam.